When I started my career in filmmaking, I started as an editor almost 10 years ago. And throughout that process, I developed some terrible habits that came at a big cost. You see, whenever I was in photos or in a video, I would look at myself and I would notice that I had like terrible posture. And on top of that, I started getting really bad lower back pain. And I eventually developed something called sciatica. And what happens when you get sciatica is that it gives you like this shooting pain from like your lower back area all the way down to like your knee, or even some people feel it in their heels. And at this point, I was freaked out. I thought to myself like, okay, something is seriously wrong, and obviously I gotta figure this out and I gotta do something to change this. So I went to go see a chiropractor, and I did a ton of research on the internet. And basically what I found out was all of this pain was caused from sitting for very long periods of time. And the chiropractor got back my results, and he was like, hey, listen, whatever it is that you're doing in your career, you got to stop it, because basically your back is so messed up. There's no way for me to get it back to 100%. At best, we'll get it back to about 85%. And at that point, obviously I was freaked out, but I knew that something in my life had to change. Now, the only solution in my mind was eliminate as much as possible the amount of sitting that I was doing throughout the day. What I thought to do was to go out and get a standing desk. Instructions, not really my vibe, to be honest with you. Gonna skim through this and probably try to do it myself. I did a ton of research on a bunch of different desk companies, and I found one that I actually saw really great reviews from, and I was checking out their website. They looked legit, and it was a company called Vernal. Now, I have a pretty sizable following on YouTube and my other social media platforms, and I thought to myself, it'd be pretty cool to do a video explaining kind of my journey throughout all of this, because I want to prevent you guys from going through the same thing that I went through. But on top of that, I did my research on them and many other companies, and I decided to reach out to them specifically because they came highly recommended and they just looked legit. They had a ton of different products and a ton of different colors to choose from. So to me, I felt good about going with Vernal. So needless to say, I was super excited when they got back to me and they told me they'd send me out a desk for free. First thing that I noticed is that when I got these boxes, the product itself is super heavy, and I'm actually glad it's as heavy and as bulky as it is, because it is made out of really good material, and you could tell that it's made with quality stuff. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was definitely not looking forward to building a whole new desk. In my mind, I thought it was gonna be way more complicated than it actually was. After I got everything out of the box, there was only a few pieces to it, very good instructions, and on top of it, Vernal has this whole assembly video that I'll actually link down below, so you guys could check that out. But it was super straightforward, super simple to do. Now, I chose to get the walnut white tabletop finish. Just in my mind, it looked cleaner and it matched the acoustic panel treatments that I have on the wall. And then I also asked them if they could send out the additional shelf that I could put on top of the desk. It just adds a little bit extra space, because I'm able to put the monitor right on top of this shelf, and then I have a place to put my drives on the side and underneath it. And just in case I want to store anything additional, like a color checker or pencils or paper or really anything that you might need. And then if you take a look below the desk, they have this little tray where you could actually put a power strip and connect your chargers and all your power outlets. If you guys really want to, I'm sure you could find a way to hide all the wires and run a cable, probably like a long extension cord, just from this power strip to the wall. Now, the real showstopper of this desk, the real knockout here, is the electronic motor. Now, this thing is freaking incredible, and I have to be honest with you guys, I'm always a little bit weary when it comes to motorized desks. I actually did a lot of research, and I found that some desks kind of like wobble or move around a lot while they're, increasing in height. So I was a little bit weary. The motor is super smooth. And then you also have these 4 other buttons that allows you to save the settings to whatever height that you want to adjust it to. And I'm extremely surprised at how tall this desk actually gets. If I put it up to full height, for me, it's too tall. I mean, I will say that I'm 5'9", so I think for people that are like 6 foot or 6'1", I think you're covered, especially if you have the shelf on top. And I know some of you guys are thinking that this video is sponsored, and of course I'm gonna be super happy with it because they sent me out, the desk for free. But to be honest with you guys, not only is it everything that I needed, but it kind of exceeded my expectations, especially with the motor. The setup was super easy. Yeah, man, overall, I'm super happy. And of course, if you guys are interested in buying one of these desks and supporting the sponsor that supported my channel and supported me as a filmmaker, I'll leave a link down below for you guys. You guys can check them out, and along with the discount code. One of the first things that I want to quickly talk about besides the desk is this thing right here. This is something that I suggest that you buy for any chair that you have. And what it is just a cushion, a thicker layer of cushion to sit on, and I'll tell you why. It doesn't matter how expensive or how nice your chair is. After a while, you're sitting on it for so long that the padding in your chair eventually comes down to nothing, and you're just sitting on something super flat, and it almost feels like wood, or maybe it's plastic or something. That will mess up your back. That could have the possibility of giving you what I have, which is sciatica. And I promise you guys, like, if you are spending hours and hours and hours editing, which you probably are, it's just a matter of time before you run into problems. So the first thing that I would say is, if you really don't want to go out and get yourself a standing desk, I would definitely consider, and even if you do get a standing desk, I would definitely consider getting that extra mat that you put on your seat. And I'm gonna go ahead and link some stuff that I suggest down below, but by all means, you don't have to buy exactly from those links. Just think about getting yourself an extra cushion, or even if you want to sit on a thick pillow, I suggest that. But this particular cushion that I'm going to link down below is actually made specifically for this particular purpose. So I suggest getting something like that. Then the other thing that I suggest for all editors and filmmakers is getting yourself a pair of blue light glasses. Now, I actually just recently lost mine, so I wish I could show you guys the ones that I had, but I'll link down below some recommendations that I have for you guys. And the reason why blue light glasses are so important is because we are looking at this screen 8 to 10 hours a day. If we are looking at this screen, eventually you're going to develop headaches, and they're going to come more and more often. And I noticed that, the first couple of years I was okay. But by year 4, 5, 6, I started developing headaches, and they didn't come on a lot. They would come on maybe once or twice a week when I would spend a lot of time looking at a monitor. But now that I'm 10 years in, and I'm looking at the monitor, and I'm constantly working on other businesses, edits, whatever it is, and I'm easily staring at this screen for a minimum of 6 to 8 hours a day. Dude, if you don't have blue light glasses, I'm now developing headaches. If I'm looking at this thing for more than 3 or 4 hours at a time without my glasses on, I got a headache for sure. So that's not healthy. I definitely recommend at least looking into it. Some of these glasses can be expensive, I know, but dude, trust me, it's worth it, especially if you're spending this much time editing. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is probably something that affects a lot less editors or filmmakers than most of the stuff that I went over today, but I have noticed that it affects me, and it really affects, really badly affects a select group of people. So if you're somebody that gets a lot of headaches while you're editing, and you're using the blue light glasses and you don't think it's necessarily screen time, it could be because there is a lot of Bluetooth frequency and a lot of wireless things in your room that is causing a lot of different frequencies to bounce around the room, and that could be a possible reason why you're getting a lot of headaches. I noticed that when I first started editing and doing all this stuff, everything that I had was wireless. My headphones were wireless, my mouse, my keyboard, some of my speakers were wireless, and I had everything connected Bluetooth to my computer. I noticed that when I got the blue light glasses and when I started going wired, everything, even my mouse, my speakers, everything, I put everything on wires, I noticed that I stopped getting so many headaches. And then the last thing that I just want to talk to you guys about is just overall just building good, healthy habits. I think that it's extremely important to exercise and to do something at least once a day, even if it's for 30 or 40 minutes. I don't care what it is. If you go out and you run a little bit, or if you go to the gym, or you play a sport, just once a day, get your body moving, because as filmmakers, as editors, we are sitting, or we're just stagnant in one place for so long, and this isn't good for your mind, this isn't good for your body, and eventually, after a long period of time, like myself, 10 years in, eventually you're gonna slowly break down. Standing desk, blue light glasses, a pad for your chair, getting yourself a really good chair to begin with, and I would definitely say look into minimizing the amount of Bluetooth and wireless things that you have on your desk or in your room while you're working. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next week. Deuces.